This last example is an interesting application to arc length, and it's going to help us calculate the radius and circumference of the Earth. Now, if we look at the picture that's given to us, we have a picture of the Earth, and there are two cities, Alexandria and Syene. It shows the rays of the sun are coming down and hitting the Earth at a degree of 7.2. So if we look at this picture, this is a sector. So we have a sector. It's telling us the distance between the two cities is 500 miles. So that's going to be our arc length. Now, we also need to know the degrees here of the central angle so that I could figure out what the radius is of the Earth. Because remember, we have the formula arc length is equal to the length of the radius times the angle in radians. So we have the arc length, that's 500, and that's in miles. And we have the angle, although it's not directly given to us, we can figure it out. And then that will help us figure out what the radius of the Earth is. So if you think back to geometry class, if you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, the angles here and here will be the same. Since the rays of the sun are parallel, then the angle here has to be the same as the angle here. So our angle in degrees would be 7.2 degrees, but we have to change that to radians. So we're going to use the fact that we have 500 miles for our arc length. We're going to solve for r, and we have to plug in our angle in radians. So I'm going to take 7.2 degrees and I'm going to change that to radians by multiplying by pi over 180 degrees. So that's going to go in for our angle. Now I can cross off my degrees, and then whatever's left in here will be in radians. So then to solve for r, I just got to divide both sides. So I just got to divide both sides by 7.2 pi over 180. So I'm going to put that in the calculator. I'm going to have 500 divided by, now I have to remember to put parentheses around the denominator so the calculator knows all of that is in the denominator. 7.2 pi divided by 180. And that's going to give me a radius of 3,978. If we round to two places, that's going to be 87, and that's miles. So the radius is a little bit shy of 4,000 miles. Now, if we want to find the circumference of the Earth, the circumference is 2 pi r. So I'm just going to use the radius of the Earth that I just found. I'm going to take 2 pi times 3,978.87 miles, and that's going to give me a little bit shy of 25,000 miles. So it's going to be 24,999 and then 0.98 miles. So the circumference of the Earth is just a hair under 25,000 miles.